In this video, I'm gonna dive into 5 pull hacks which are a true game changers and which can save you from losing matches, especially in tricky situations. This is a really annoying 8-ball situation where we have to play final 8-ball, which is actually a pocket hanger. But as you can see, these solid balls are located in totally awkward places, blocking every possible kickshot escape and even a jump shot. However, there is an absolutely incredible solution to this situation, because all what you need is take your cue, elevate it about 20 degrees and hit left side rail exactly as if you wanted to play one rail kick shot. If you hit the cue ball slightly below its center, then it jumps a bit before hitting side rail and then jumps over the obstacle, what causes it to go immediately towards 8-ball. However, very important will be elevation and speed of that shot, because we need to cause the cue ball to reach the right height in moment of contact with rail. If we elevate our cue too much or we hit too hard, then cue ball will jump too high and going off the table. But if we apply too little of both factors, then cue ball hits side rail too low and make a contact with obstacle first. And well, at the beginning it might be quite tricky to deal with this type of shot, but I'm sure that you will get a feel for it pretty fast and you will be able to escape this awkward situation with a great ease. We need to talk about this very interesting situation where 9-ball is frozen to the rail, very close to corner pocket, but the biggest problem is position of the cue ball, which makes this cut shot impossible to execute, because angle is higher than 90 degrees. And actually, I could see players who tried to slow roll the cue ball as close as possible to the 9-ball, what was a huge mistake. This ball is frozen to the rail, what makes this shot totally illegal, because always one of the balls must touch the rail after contact between them. So first of all, you need to aim as close as possible to the right side of the 9-ball and use maximum left spin. As you can see in slow motion, cue ball is actually sticking to the rail first, and then side spin pushes the 9-ball towards correct direction. However, because distance between balls is very short and it might be quite tricky to guide the cue ball towards correct direction or avoid scratch in opposite corner pocket. So in this case, I'm going to play an intentional double kiss on the 9-ball, and all what you have to do is aim 9-ball almost straight, just tiny bit to the right. To make this shot possible, we need to hit the cue ball low with only a bit of right spin, which will help us to push 9-ball towards correct direction. Alright, moving on, we have to look at this another very interesting scenario where we face final 9-ball on the table. Location of 9-ball puts us in a very difficult position, because it is impossible to cut this ball into the side pocket, as well as making this ball into the corner pocket, because it causes a frustrating scratch. And actually, it looks like we are forced to play a safety shot, and the easiest possible way is push the cue ball just tiny bit more on the left side of the 9-ball and hide it behind point of the side pocket. Second obvious choice would be to hit 9-ball almost perfectly straight and send it towards top half of the table using 4 rails, while cue ball stays in bottom area. And the last choice you should consider is hitting 9-ball much thinner, what causes it to go towards bottom area using both side rails, while cue ball going up using both short rails. I said that we are forced to play a safety shot, but actually we have a very interesting solution. All what we need is to aim 9-ball perfectly at its ghost ball, elevate our cue about 20 degrees and use a very short and fast stroke. After this hit, cue jumps a bit before hitting the 9 ball and then hits back of a pocket relatively high, which makes it possible that cue comes back on the table. This is a very low percentage shot and I would definitely recommend playing a safety shot, but if you wanna impress your opponents and leave them speechless, then just pull the trigger. Going forward, we face this 8-ball scenario where we have to play final 8-ball, but as you can see, these solid balls completely block access to both corner pockets, as well as to the left side pocket. If we remove these two balls, then we would be able to play a very thin cut shot into the bottom right corner or into the side pocket, but unfortunately situation is quite different. This time, to escape this difficult scenario, you have to take your break cue, elevate it about 20 to 30 degrees and hit 8-ball perfectly straight using a very short and fast stroke. Cue ball once again jumps slightly before hitting the object ball, what also causes 8-ball to jump over the obstacle and go towards corner pocket. This shot is not easy, but also not very difficult to execute, and I'm sure that you can use this type of hit in many situations where you have to avoid the obstacles during positioning. And finally, I'm going to show you this incredible 9-ball scenario where final result can shock absolutely every player. We have to play 8-ball which is frozen to the rail, and we can actually try to play a bank shot into the opposite side pocket, but if we even make that bank shot, then it is very difficult to control the cue ball and create comfortable position to the 9-ball, which is also located very close to side rail. And actually we could try to play a safety shot, but it is very difficult to leave 8-ball and cue ball in safe positions. We need to hit 8-ball slightly more on its left side and apply low right spin to the cue ball. As you can see, after double keys, 8-ball going towards the 9-ball, leaving it in front of the side pocket, while in the same time cue ball going towards opposite side rail, where right spin causes it to go towards the 9-ball. This shot is very difficult to execute because critical will be amount of spin as well as enough thin contact between cue ball and 8-ball to put all this puzzle together. Normally, I would never recommend such a solution because it is very low percentage shot, but if you wanna leave your opponent shocked, this is a shot you must have in your arsenal. But if you enjoyed this video, then you need to check this episode where I present another bunch of tricky situations which you can escape in a very clever way.